Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's Sunday, May 20th, 2018, and I'm outside on the west side of the workshop area now, the area of the future educational center. And today, last 2 days it's been raining here. But 3 days ago on Friday, I went ahead and pulled the tarps off of this side of the raised beds, and I added more compost to some of the beds that needed compost added to them. I added wood chips where wood chips were needed as well, as far as in the paths. One of the areas last season, all season long, I kept the bed right up against the building completely tarped until the fall, so that I could do oculation to kill all the weeds that were there along the side of the building. That worked out really well. It also helped to enhance the breakdown of the wood chips in the path adjacent to that bed along the wall. In the fall, I started some hardwood cuttings, and they're started off pretty well so far. We'll see how they do. But what I've done so far is pull off the tarps on another bed as well. I got all the supports that were holding the tarp down. Added compost to the one bed that I had not added compost to previously. Topped off the two new beds that I had started this spring, and added more wood chips to the perimeter as well. Then yesterday, when it was raining, we went ahead and took these what are chain link fencing kennel panels, ones that I picked up on Craigslist that people were getting rid of, and I used them before for a temporary chicken coop, chicken retaining area as well, just having them in places where I could help to keep safety for the animals when they're outside. And so we took those and got most of those up yesterday. And what we did do is we put cardboard down, put wood chips down and cardboard down, and to lay those chain link panels down. I'll show you an area now. Hold on 1 minute. So in this area we have a problem with quack grass and bindweed, or Bermuda grass, which really sends out those white lateral rhizomes that will go for great distances under sidewalks and all, and pop up on the other side. So what I decided to do was to try to protect this area not just from the chickens but from the wildlife as well. So these are 6-foot high panels, and I decided to put some wood chips down first on the grass and material that is there on this place, then put the cardboard down, put several layers of cardboard down, and then put the wood chips over the top of it. And then I backfilled wood chips on the inside of the panels as well. And then today, so I only got the panels up to a certain point, and I only have so many panels. So I'm trying to work this out so at least one garden bed is set with this more permanent system. It isn't actually permanent. So today I took Bumblebee, the mini excavator, out with the teeth on basically the digging bucket, and I took those teeth that really only stick down a few inches, and I came right alongside of the building here where one of the cattle panel hoop house here, where we're going to be growing beans. And that's all new compost along the surface of here. And what I decided to do is I'll put more of these kennel sections, the 3 remaining ones that I have going up here. I used one of my gates as a main gate to get in here. There'll be another gate up at the end next to the building. So I decided to take the teeth of the excavator, rip out the sod. I place it to the side here. I'll be pulling that out with the tractor in a little while and putting that into another shade garden area. And of course the chickens have been over here having fun since doing that. There's a whole bunch of utilities and water that go from this building here. So as you can see, we have one of the main panels here on the front side is a transfer panel box. Then we have the panel that's for the solar panels coming from out back where they are. We have various other utility panel boxes as well, phone systems, Another power line going out to a couple of buildings out back. Gas lines coming from the propane tank that supplies gas to each of the buildings and to the generator. And there's a water line that goes underneath here, and then behind those panels over there, there's another electrical conduit as well. So this whole area, beside having septic drainage from the building, all of these various utilities go through this area. The one that I'd be most concerned about is the propane gas line right there, which goes under the ground pretty darn close to where I just put that post. So I use the metal detector. I have a really good metal detector, a Fisher metal detector that I use, and it really helps me to trace out power lines, water lines, utility lines. It's really fantastic. However, one caveat is when you get too much metal around the area, when the ground is saturated wet. So I've got all these metal panels all around here right now, so it was giving me somewhat spurious, and I had the excavator here as well. So I wasn't getting real accurate data, but that can get me down to within 3 inches of where the line is, typically. But I decided, instead of trying to take down the panels and all, to just go ahead and carefully use a post hole digger here and my pry bar, get down in there deep enough to support this post. And the panels will go up here, right along this side, but I'll be laying cardboard down here first, some wood chips as well. I'll take this material out of here. Another thing is I have one thing that I think it's really good if you if you ever have frosts in the areas where you live or work, right underneath these two 6x6, which are just a couple of scrap 6x6 posts. 6x6 posts that, I'm going to see if I can do this with the camera now. So I just have one of those utility boxes here that I can get to my hydrant, to my frost-free shut-off valve to shut off water going to all various buildings on the property. So I have these in several locations. So I have these access panels for things like shutting off water supply to different buildings, because in my experiences over the last almost 4 decades now with buildings, you have lines that break over time. And it's really good, it's real handy to be able to have a place where you can shut off the water supply to some buildings or some hydrants out back or in various parts of your property without disturbing the whole system and taking that down for a while you dig out and repair the line wherever it bursts and all. So I really recommend using these, frost-free shut-off valves that are, in our case, they're down 3.5 feet deep in the ground, and that's worked out really well. The one line that I was most concerned about that I was mentioning was the gas line, because they only have to be down like 18 inches. So those are the ones that I'm worried about. Geez, even with using the post hole diggers, nicking that. So I do recommend taking lots of photos and video and having at least 2 backups of all of these photos and videos of all of the places where you've done excavation and put in water lines, utility lines, whatever is underneath the ground, documenting it carefully, laying out tape measurements from known key locations, whether it's a big old oak tree or a corner of a building, whatever it is, and describing it very well. This day and age, we've got smartphones, and I think it's pretty darn easy to do that. So I will insert some GoPro footage that was on the little tripod stand with a battery backup system on it, of me taking off the tarps and doing some of the work around here. Unfortunately, yesterday and this morning it was too wet for me to have the cameras out to show putting up the panels and doing all the wood chips, but I'll shoot some more GoPro footage here as well, and we'll see how all that turns out. Well folks, I'm back. It's been a busy weekend, last 3 days, getting things ready here for the next phase. Actually, broad forking, tilthing the soil, getting the drip tapes down, and and all of the weed mats as well. But I'm pretty happy. I've added all the wood chips that need to be added to the whole system all the way around. Got some really decent fencing up to try and keep the wildlife out, as well as to keep the chickens out of there. They were in there all day today though. I got a weed mat down underneath this side over here. Got as much cardboard as I had left. I ran out of cardboard, but got the wood chips down on the gravel over here on top of the cardboard. Then went ahead and got the weed mat down, got the fencing up. Thea came out and gave me a hand locking these last couple panels there. I still have to get a gate for this side, but other than that, we've got a solid enclosure. And next I got to move on to the rest of the beds and the rest of the area. So hopefully this isn't too windy. If you have questions or comments about this system here, please leave them below. And if you haven't subscribed, and if you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I post another video. And by all means, folks, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.